Welcome to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, where strippers still hustle to put food on the table, the air smells like crab oil, and the stories run deeper than the tide. They call it coastal Mississippi now, but we still say the secret coast. Gritty, proud, and real as it gets. First stop, Biloxi. She's been around since 1719 and still tougher than a hurricane. Then it's on to Gulfport. Born on timber and railroads and still grinding it out, but the second biggest port on the Gulf. Finally, we swing west just over the Louisiana line, where a third-generation charter boat captain takes us inshore fishing for redfish and speckled trout. So grab a cold one and let's get underway. This ain't just a video, it's a slice of the real Gulf Coast. Biloxi has been around a very long time. First off, it was named for the Biloxi people. Yeah, the town is actually named for the people who are actually living here. Then, in 1699, the French rolled in, strutting around like they owned the place. They set up shop at Fort Maritime, which today is just across the bay in Ocean Springs. Now that was under Pier d'Iberville, who had a name longer than a CVS receipt. A couple years later, around 1719, his brother Bienville looked across the water and went, "You know what would be better? Over there." So they packed up and moved the whole operation over to what we now call Biloxi. Better access to ships, trade, and not getting shot at so easy. And for a hot minute, just 3 short years, Biloxi was the capital of French Louisiana. Then the bigwigs over in Versailles decided New Orleans had more swagger, so they bounced. After that, Biloxi did what southern towns do best, adapted, turned into a seafood powerhouse, got all touristy after World War II, and by the 1990s, casinos started popping up like Waffle Houses off the interstate. Then Katrina hit in 2005 and knocked the hell out of everything. But, like your grandpa's old pickup, Biloxi got patched up, fired back up, and kept on trucking. These days, it's a mix of saltwater, slot machines, and stories thicker than gumbo. Biloxi Beach is where the Gulf Coast throws on a pair of flip-flops, grabs a daiquiri, and says, "Let's make a day out of it." This ain't the kind of beach where you need a yacht or curated Instagram. This is the people's beach. Wide, flat, and friendly, with soft white sand that doesn't scorch your feet too bad, and waves so chill they barely splash your beard. You got kiddos? Perfect. The water's calm enough for toddlers to wade around like little drunk pirates, and there's usually someone nearby selling snowballs the size of your head. Want a little action? You got maybe 5 minutes from a casino, a seafood joint, or a place selling t-shirts with pelicans doing keg stands. That's just the Biloxi vibe. Equal parts family vacation and half-price margaritas. What makes it special? It's the balance. You can park yourself under a cheap umbrella, watch the shrimp boats drift by, then go gamble away your lunch money at the Hard Rock without ever changing out of your swim trunks. There's always music in the air. Live bands, radio, the occasional guy playing Freebird on a Bluetooth speaker he probably just stole from his cousin. It's laid back but lively, salty but sweet. Biloxi Beach ain't trying to be South Beach or Malibu. It's just being itself. And somehow, that's exactly what you want. Heck yeah, Sharkheads is still open and still looking like somebody dared a Florida man to design a building and he knocked it out of the dang park. You can't miss it. Big old shark mouth just sitting there on Beach Boulevard like it's about to swallow a minivan. Bright pink, loud as hell, and proud of it. This place has been doing the Lord's work since 1973, selling hermit crabs, tie-dye t-shirts, airbrush tank tops with your cousin's name on them, and more seashells at a mermaid yard sale. They got fudge too, because why not? You ever brought a wind chime, a novelty license plate, and a pound of praline fudge all in one stop? You will now. They're open every day, morning to night. Weekdays, 8:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. So yeah, if you're in Biloxi and you ain't been to the Head, you're doing it all wrong, man. Saturdays stay open a little later because it's party time, 10:30 p.m. Sunday, same as weekdays, bless 'em. If you're in Biloxi and you ain't been to the Shark Head, you're doing it all wrong, man. Go, walk through that shark's mouth and let the beachy chaos wash over you like a rogue wave, full of shot glasses and flip-flops. This beautiful little garden sitting right by the visitor center isn't just landscaping, it's the French colonial memorial garden, sitting on top of what might be the second oldest French graveyard in the entire country. Back in the early 1700s, the French were dumping settlers here in what they called New Biloxi. Most had no clue what they were in for. Heat, hunger, fever, biting flies, and stinging mosquitoes. Many didn't last long. Soldiers, priests, poor folks, chasing dreams that turned into nightmares. Time passed. Folks forgot. Then, in 1914, they found bones. Hurricane Camille unearthed more in '69, and Katrina doubled down in 2005. Like the Gulf was saying, don't forget these people. Archaeologists found over 30 graves, mostly young men, and turned the site into a memorial in 2017. Now there's trimmed hedges, plaques, and a weeping angel watching over them. It's peaceful, quiet, and it tells the truth. Biloxi isn't just beaches and daiquiris. It's built on grit, loss, and folks who gave everything just trying to make a life. Alright y'all, let's talk about the Beluxy Lighthouse and its sidekick, the Biloxi Visitor Center. Two Gulf Coast gems that have seen more action than a Waffle House at 2 a.m. Built in 1848, this 60-foot tall cast iron beauty was one of the first of its kind in the South. She stood tall through hurricanes, wars, and even a few questionable fashion trends. Its point of pride is that women ran this lighthouse longer than any other in the United States. A mother-daughter duo, Maria and Miranda Younghans, kept the light running for over 63 years. Inside, you'll find storm surge markings from hurricanes dating back over a century, including the 21.5-foot high water mark from Hurricane Katrina. The Biloxi Lighthouse offers guided tours from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., weather permitting. The typical tour starts at 9 o'clock, 9:15, and 9:30 a.m. No reservations are required for individuals. However, group tours should be arranged by calling in advance. Admission fees are $5 for adults, $2 for children aged 6 to 11, and free for children under 5. The climb to the top involves 57 steps, an 8-rung ladder, and a small trapdoor. The tour is not recommended for those with mobility issues or fear of heights. The lighthouse is located at 1050 Beach Boulevard, situated in the median of US Highway 90. For more information, visit the official Biloxi Lighthouse page. Right next door is the Biloxi Visitor Center, a 23,000 square foot mansion that blends southern charm with modern flair. Inside, you'll find exhibits on Biloxi's history, from French explorers to the seafood industry, plus a 50-minute film about Hurricane Katrina. Don't miss the gift shop for unique Biloxi memorabilia, and be sure to sign the guest book in the foyer. Visitor Center hours are daily from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So, if you're in Biloxi, swing by these iconic duos. Climb the lighthouse for panoramic views, then cool off in the Visitor Center while you soak up some local history. It's a perfect blend of the past and present, just like a good Southern story should be. If you're looking to get a taste of Biloxi's salty soul, the Maritime and Seafood Industry Museum, it's where it's at. This place ain't just a bunch of old nets and boat parts. It's a full-blown tribute to the grit, grease, and gumbo that built the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Founded in 1986, this museum is a love letter to the folks who turned shrimping, oystering, and boat building into an art form. We're talking exhibits on everything from marine blacksmithing to the legendary Biloxi schooners, whose white-winged queens once ruled these waters. They even have a 30-foot sloop named Nida, built in 1898, sitting pretty inside the museum like it's the Mona Lisa of the Maritime. This isn't just about boats and bait. The museum also houses the Wade Geist Hurricane Museum, a sobering look at the tempers of Mother Nature, including the devastation of Hurricane Camille in 1969 and Katrina in 2005. It's a testament to the resiliency of the Gulf coastal folks who keep rebuilding no matter how many times the sea tries to knock us down. To plan your visit, go to the Maritime and Seafood Industry webpage for all the details. So, if you're in Biloxi and you want to dive deep into the heart of what makes this place tick, the Maritime and Seafood Industry Museum is your port of call. It's where history isn't just preserved, it's celebrated, seasoned, and served up with a side of Southern pride. Now let's take a boat ride and find out how this shrimping business actually works. Alright, so picture this. You're out on the Gulf, wind in your hair, dolphins dancing in your wake, and the sun hitting the water just right, like God's own disco ball. There's salt on your skin, a cold drink in your hand, and the low hum of the motor rumbling beneath your flip-flops. The fella at the back of the boat lowers the shrimping net. It slowly spreads out over the blue-green water and sinks to the bottom. A few minutes pass. Maybe y'all swap some tall tales or slap out a mosquito or two. Then he starts to haul it back in. Slow, steady, practiced. You hear the squish and pop of water dripping through the net. And next thing you know, there's a silver and pink wiggling mess of fresh Gulf shrimp flopping onto the deck. Still kicking, smelling like money and dinner and summer all rolled into one. That right there, that's not just shrimping, that's a damn tradition. That's a way of life. That's Biloxi, baby. That's the Biloxi shrimping trip. Part old school boat tour, part marine biology class. This ain't no bougie yacht cruise. It's a 70-minute working boat trip aboard the Sailfish, where you get a front row seat to real deal shrimping trawling. They just don't show off the catch. They break it down for you. Like why shrimp walk backwards, how shrimp boats work, how this whole industry kept the coast alive for generations. It's surprisingly fascinating and funny, even if you can't tell a shrimp from a crawfish. This trip is perfect for families, folks who like learning with a little sass, seafood lovers, and anybody who ever looked at a shrimp and wondered, how did that get on my poor boy? The boat leaves from the marina behind the Hard Rock Casino. You will leave knowing the difference between a brown shrimp and a white shrimp. The deckhand might let kids, or curious adults, poke at the haul. Educational and a little gross, just how we like it. If you're rolling down Beach Boulevard and see this big old seafood shack propped up like it's trying to dodge the next hurricane, pull over. That's MaroYS Harbor House. And brother, this place is a dang institution. Ain't just another tourist trap slinging frozen fish sticks. Nah, this place has roots, y'all. In 1957, the MaroYS started a small root beer stand right on the beach. Fast forward to 72, they scoop up a little snack shack down at the harbor, just rebuilt after Hurricane Camille tried to send the whole coast to Jesus. Then in 74, Mickey and Jane McElroy do the damn thing. They crank out a full-blown seafood joint right on the water, just like God and Jimmy Buffett intended. It runs strong for decades, till Hurricane Katrina shows up in 2005 and wrecks the place like a drunk uncle at a wedding. But the McElroys aren't quitters. In 2012, they come back stronger than ever. Higher, literally. They raise the whole damn building 29 feet up in the air like it's Moses parting the Red Seas. Now, it has the best views in town on Deer Island. Alright, here's the play. For starters, I'm going with the charred grilled oysters. Because of course I am. They come out still hissing, riding shotgun on a cast iron plate that smells like heaven, just got a Cajun cook. They're sitting in a shallow pool of butter, garlic, and Parmesan. So rich, you'd think it owns all rights. The edges of the oysters get all crispy and golden, but the middle stays silky like it's whispering sweet nothings to your arteries. You sop that juice up with the French bread they throw on the side, and suddenly you're speaking in tongues. Main course, you know it, shrimp poor boy, fully dressed with fries. They ain't skimping. Whole damn baguette jammed with golden fried Gulf shrimp that still tastes like the ocean whispered a secret to them. Lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, and mayo so thick it's practically a dairy product. One bite and the whole thing tries to fall apart in your hands, like it knows it's too beautiful for this world. It comes with a pile of fries that are hot, salty, and crispy, like they know they're just backup dancers to the main event. They don't just serve seafood, they serve a show. You sit out on that deck looking over Biloxi Beach, watching shrimp boats cruise by, like seagulls screaming at you like tiny feathered meth addicts. Locals, tourists, sunburned gamblers from the casino. It doesn't matter. Everyone eats happy here.
Bottom line, MaroYS Harbor House ain't just good. It's Grandpa told me about it good. If you're anywhere near Biloxi and you don't stop here, I'm honestly just worried about your decision-making process.
The Mississippi Gulf Coast has very little wave action on its beaches, mainly because of the barrier islands that sit just offshore. These islands, like Ship Island, Horn Island, and Cat Island, act as a natural breakwater, absorbing and deflecting the energy of the waves coming in from the Gulf of Mexico before they can ever reach the mainland shore. Here's how it works. Waves that travel across the open Gulf lose much of their power when they hit the barrier islands. The islands take the brunt of the wave force, so by the time the water reaches the coast, it's calm and gentle. The water between the barrier islands and the mainland is relatively shallow. Shallow water naturally slows waves down and causes them to break early and weakly, further reducing their impact. Many of these barrier islands run parallel to the coastline, creating a protective shield that stretches for miles and blocks most direct wave activity from open water. The result? Beaches like those in Gulport, Biloxi, and Ocean Springs have small, lapping waves, making them feel more like a quiet bay than an open oceanfront.
Alright y'all, Gulfport, Mississippi. She may not be as flashy as New Orleans or Mobile, but she has grit, salt, and stories a mile long sewn into every inch of her sandy soil. So let's go out and find some.
It all kicks off in 1898 when some fellows with money and mustaches, Captain William Hardy and Joseph Jones, decide to slap a deep water port right in the middle of the Mississippi coast. Now why? Because they got timber to move, and them pine trees up north ain't gonna ship themselves. So they build a railroad and run it straight to the coast, and boom, Gulfport is born, like a baby with calluses on its hands. By the early 1900s, this place is blowing up. We're talking lumber, cotton, seafood. Hell, they were hauling so many goods out of this town, they had to dredge the dang channel twice just to keep up. And right in the middle of it all, the port. Still kicking to this day, second biggest on the Gulf after New Orleans, and that ain't nothing to sneeze at. These days, Gulfport is a mixture of old school southern charm and will make it work energy.
So yeah, Gulfport may not wear a crown, but she's the kind of queen who'll fry your fish, mow your lawn, and cuss out the hurricane all in the same afternoon. Here's the lowdown on Gulfport Beach, Mississippi's answer to, hey, what if the ocean had chill southern vibes and didn't cost you half your paycheck?
This place stretches out about 7 miles along Highway 90, and it ain't trying to be Miami or Destin or any of that glitzy mess. Gulfport Beach is for folks who want to kick off their shoes, dig their toes in some real nice sand, and maybe drink a cold one while watching the sun slap the Gulf with a fresh coat of orange and pink at sunset. The sand? Soft and white, like a dang biscuit before the gravy hits it. You can walk it barefoot, build a sandcastle, or just plop your butt down and let the sun cook out your bad decisions. The water? Well, it's Gulf water. Ain't always crystal clear, but it's warm, shallow, and perfect for floating, splashing, or watching your kids act like they've never seen the ocean before. And if you're hunting for a beach in Gulfport, try Ken Combs Pier Beach. It's right at the end of Courthouse Road. First thing you notice? plenty of parking. No circling for 30 minutes while your kids melt in the back seat. Just pull in, park it, and walk straight to the sand like God intended. Bathrooms? They got them. Real ones. Not some plastic sauna with a lock that doesn't work. These are clean, close, and don't smell like a war crime. Right under them is a shaded area. Perfect for when you've had just about enough of the sun or just need a spot to slap together some sandwiches. Now here's where it gets real fun. Beach rentals. They got chairs, umbrellas, and those big old fat tire bikes that look like they were built for swamp Sasquatches. But let me tell you, they glide across that sand like butter on a biscuit. You'll be riding down the coast feeling like a Gulf Coast superhero. And then bam, there's a dang snowball truck posted up like a hero in a heat wave. Rainbow, tiger's blood, wedding cake, you name it. You've never tasted something so cold and sweet while standing in your flip-flops, watching pelicans fly lazy loops over your head. The beach itself? Wide, clean, and quiet. Ain't no big waves trying to drag your grandma to Cuba, just calm water and soft sand for days. Perfect for lounging, splashing, or just staring at the horizon, wondering why you don't live here already. So yeah, Ken Combs Pier Beach, it ain't fancy, but it's dang near perfect. Come for the peace, stay for the snowballs, and leave with a sunburn and a smile.
Gulport Beach is the kind of place where you can show up in flip-flops, spend a whole day getting sunburned, eat good, and still have gas money left. It's laid back, local, and proudly unpretentious, just like your Uncle Randy if he was a beach.
Alright, buckle up folks, here's your rundown on the Mississippi Aquarium. This ain't some kiddie pool with a goldfish and a turtle. It's a 5.8 acre full tilt marine Mardi Gras sitting right on Beach Boulevard and officially threw open its doors on August 29, 2020, 15 years to the day after Katrina came knocking. That's what we call poetic backbone. Now, this place ain't playing. They got over 200 animal species, 300 plus types of fish, and more native plants than your Aunt Cheryl's Facebook gardening group. They have 4 bottlenose dolphins, Archer, Axel, Nigel, and Finn. All 4 were born and raised at SeaWorld Orlando. In December 2020, they were moved to Gulfport, where they are now under the supervision of the professional staff of the Mississippi Aquarium. What else is inside this aqua palace? They have 12 habitats. We're talking kelp forests like Finding Nemo, Amazon zones full of jungle vibes, and a coral reef brighter than your ex's new haircut. You'll meet river otters acting like they had too much caffeine, alligators side-eyeing you like you're on the menu, beavers working like they're union carpenters, and a bird-filled aviary where you're the one in the cage. Alright, here are the basics, aka when, where, and how much. The Mississippi Aquarium is located at 21 East Beach Boulevard, Gulport, Mississippi. Just follow the signs or your kids' excited screams. The hours? Open every day from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tickets? Hit their website ahead of time, unless you like lines and regret. The food? The Pelican Point Cafe serves up decent grub, and you can grab a stuffed stingray at the gift shop on the way out. So, if you're floating through the Mississippi Gulf Coast and you're tired of casinos and gas station chicken, swing by this place. It has flippers, feathers, and fun. And you might actually learn something while you're at it. Though, I won't tell anybody if you don't.
Alright, let me tell you about Fishbone Alley, this funky little strip of magic tucked right in the heart of downtown Gulfport. Now, you may walk past it if you ain't looking, because from the outside, it just looks like a skinny alleyway between bars. But step in, and buddy, you're in a whole different world.
I walk through this place like I'm strolling through a living, breathing art show. The walls covered in wild, colorful murals. Some pretty, some weird, all of them loud. There's a giant octopus staring at me from one end like I owe it money. Some of it changes up from time to time too. So even if you've been here before, you ain't seen it all yet. The ground ain't just concrete either. It's old school brick. Ones they dug up after Katrina. Back then this was a busted up service alley. Probably smelled like dumpster juice. But the city got smart. cleaned it up, and now it's one of the coolest hangout spots on the coast. There's even a plaque telling you about the history like it's something out of a Ken Burns documentary, but with more barbecue sauce and less violins. And speaking of barbecue, Murky Waters is right there serving up ribs that'll make you want to slap your cousin, like you needed a reason to. You got Rooney's Irish Pub pouring pints, and the Rock House mixing up cocktails like they're trying to get you in trouble. It's all open carry too, so yeah, grab a drink, wander around, take in the art, and vibe like you're on a honky-tonk version of Bourbon Street. At night, this place comes alive. They'll have live music bouncing off the bricks, and folks from all walks of life just mingling and laughing under the string lights. Artists, rednecks, tourists, hippies, you name it. They're here, and somehow it all just works.
So yeah, Fishbone Alley, it ain't just a back alley anymore. It's a love letter to Gulport with graffiti on it. And damn, I'm glad I found it.
Now, if you're heading down Highway 90 in Gulfport and spot a long stretch of concrete shooting out into the Gulf like it's trying to pick a fight with the horizon, that's Moses Pier. Locals call it the Municipal Pier, but let's be honest, Moses Pier just hits better. This sucker's been through hell and hurricanes, but still stands tall. Well, mostly. The storm surge from Katrina damn near ripped it out of the Gulf, and they rebuilt it stronger than before. Like some coastal Rocky Balboa, it stretches out about 1,500 feet, giving you all the elbow room you need to sling your line without hooking somebody's uncle in the ear. And talk about a democratic fishing hole. Doesn't matter if you got a Zebco from Walmart or some high dollar setup that looks like a NASA prototype. Everybody is welcome here. Folks catch everything from speckled trout and flounder to the occasional rogue redfish, who's clearly lost or drunk. Here's your hot tip. Stop by Gulfport Marina Bait and Tackle at the front of the pier. Real friendly folks. They'll hook you up with live shrimp, frozen mullet, squid, or even some fiddler crabs if you're going after the picky eater. Shrimp's your MVP out here, no question. Everything in the Gulf wants a bite of a live shrimp, including you if you ain't eaten in a while. There's lights for night fishing, benches for lazy sitting, and a breeze that'll slap the sweat right off your face. Parking is easy too. There's a lot right next to the pier, and it usually doesn't fill up unless it's a holiday weekend. Moses Pier isn't fancy, but it's real. The kind of place where a teenager catches their first fish, a retiree finds peace and quiet, and that one cousin you don't talk about tries to grow his catch in the parking lot. Come for the fish, stay for the folks, and remember, shrimp is king, patience is key, and always bring more ice than you think you might need. Alright y'all, let me break it down for you in plain old Southernese. Little Ray's Poor Boys and Seafood ain't trying to be the next big thing. In its own way, it already is. This joint don't need neon signs or avocado foam to get your attention. What it does have is seafood. So fresh, it probably voted in the last Gulport City Council election. You walk in, and it looks like your cousin Earl finally opened up that dream fish shack. Pawpaw's running the fryer, and every bite tastes like Ariel herself kissed it with Tony Shockers. This ain't Instagram food. It is real food. Food with stories. Food that hugs you insides and whispers, "You're home, Bubba." Now, let me walk you through the gospel from the coast. Appetizers, 2 pounds of boiled crawfish, minimum. I know this part is going to be hard to believe, but I haven't had any boiled crawfish this season. So, I ain't letting that pot pass me by today. They're bright red, spicy, steaming, and making my nose run just enough to feel alive. Alright, science experiment time. Let's see how long exactly it takes a Louisianan to finish off a 2-pound pile of boiled crawfish. Ready? Start. 11 minutes, 20 seconds. But I'm pretty sure a good old boy from Homo, Louisiana could have done a lot better. And again, I'm out of practice. Main course? Oh, I went full Gulf royalty here. Fried green tomatoes stacked like Mardi Gras balloons. Grilled shrimp laying on top like they just clocked out of a beachside gym. And a remoulade so good you consider drinking it with a straw. Bread, crisp and fresh, holding up just barely to the entire meal. Fries on the side, because of course I love french fries, and they were crispy enough to survive a hurricane evacuation. Dessert, bread pudding of course, because I spent all day wandering through fish tanks and getting yelled at by gulls like I'm a one-man Disney short, and I earned that warm custody miracle, drizzled in caramel. This ain't dessert, man, this is therapy. Little Ray's is more than a stop. It's a southern baptism in butter, seafood, and salt. Come hungry, leave full, and remember, real food don't need no TikTok filter. Fishing report. This is how things stand at the Lake Pontchartrain Trestles as of Mother's Day, May 11, 2025. We left out of the Point Marina of Slidell before dawn. We got underway with Captain Mike Brantley, the man, the myth, the legend. This ain't no fly-by-night operation. The captain has been reeling them in since he was knee-high to a crawfish. Grew up learning the ropes from his grandfather, who was a charter legend in his own right. So when you step on Mike's boat, you ain't just going fishing. You're stepping into a multi-generational Louisiana tradition. We anchored off near the Pontchartrain Railroad Trestle and started casting out. And it wasn't about, I'd say, 10 minutes before I hooked my first fish. I landed a nice redfish that in fact I'm going to have for dinner tonight. And that is just how the day went. I landed that first redfish and then it was trout time. And it wasn't but a matter of minutes after I landed that redfish that I hooked into my first good-sized speckled trout. And Captain Mike knows exactly how to catch the fish, where, when, and what. So today he had us at the railroad trestles, and he had us working up and down those trestles. Every time it would be like a smaller trout or a hardhead, boom, he'd move us right along, and we'd catch bigger and more fish. Man is a genius when it comes to fishing. We were fishing with shrimp right on the bottom with the weight, and bam after bam, man had us in fish. Now, with Captain Mike, it doesn't matter if you're dragging your kids out for their first cast, if you're retired and looking for peace and redfish, or you're trying to relive your college glory days, go Tigers, Captain Mike got you covered. He's been running the lines from Lake Pontchartrain to the Biloxi marshes since before most folks knew which end of the rod to hold. And let me tell you, he doesn't half-ass it. He's out there working like it's a damn tournament every single time. He's determined to fill that ice chest and make you proud of your catch. Now, I've been out with him 3 times. First trip, caught the biggest redfish of my entire life. Second time, we limited out so fast I had time to eat a sandwich and take a nap before noon. Last trip, man, it was like fishing in a dream. Started off with that redfish and ended up with a full limit of speckled trout. No joke, one of the best days I have ever had on the water. And the best part, he fillets the whole thing like a pro, tosses it in bags, and sends you home looking like a damn Gulf Coast king. We walked off that boat with 10 bags of fresh fish and a story to tell with every meal. Now, if you're fishing anywhere near New Orleans and you ain't calling Captain Mike, you're doing it all wrong. So, I'm going to leave his info in the description. Do yourself a favor, call that man. If you want to go fishing, call Captain Mike. He will hook you up. Thank you for watching. If you're hungry for more of the strange and beautiful chaos that is the Gulf Coast, we got a podcast now over on Patreon. And if you haven't hit that subscription button yet, now's the time. Don't overthink it, just do it. Until next time, folks, this is Gulf Coastal Connections. Stay curious, stay hungry, and stay salty.